The Dreadful Truth, rewritten by Wyatt Rosales, inspired by The Return of Freddy's The Dreadful Truth by Tyler Alstrom. Chapter 4. Once Allison and his gang had gotten back to New Mexico, he found out that the police were now onto him. Allison and his gang were in the hideout when suddenly the SWAT team barged into the place, cars and helicopters surrounding it. Mr. Allison Bayron II, you are under arrest for mass murder, drug dealing, and other crimes against humanity. You are to put your hands in the air and be brought to a maximum security prison where you will be executed by electric chair, one of the officers said. Oh shit, Allison exclaimed. But then Allison had an idea. He took out a gun and shot himself. Of course, he wasn't actually dead, as he had taken the Radslaw, but the SWAT team and police were fooled, and they instead arrested all of the gang members. Once everyone else had left, Allison got up and smirked. He had gotten away yet again. Allison then went to the courthouse and changed his name. He went from being Allison Bayron II to his new identity, William Afton. Chapter 5. Now that Allison, now William, was free from the cops, he decided to migrate from New Mexico to Michigan. Once William got there, he had an idea. He would get into the entertainment business. So, he founded a company known as Fazbear Inc. and used the machine he had taken from Girabato to create advanced animatronic robots. He then started up an animatronic children's restaurant. William couldn't really think of a good name for it, so he just used the first thing he thought of as the name, that being Goldie Paradiner. However, this wasn't for the kids. It was for the money. Goldie Paradiner featured two animatronics, Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. These two animatronics were special types known as Springlock suits. Basically, William didn't want to have to pay for both animatronics and mascot suits at the same time, so instead, he just decided to combine the two. How it worked was that you would insert a hand crank into the back of the animatronic, turn it 5 times, and that would pull the animatronic parts to the very back, and the person could wear it as a suit. However, the suits weren't safe. Not at all. If you so much as breathed wrong in there, that the spring locks would go off, and you would meet a brutal demise, as well as getting trapped inside the suits. The two employees at Goldie Paradiner were two best friends, their names being Gron Takalikin and Vincent Peterson. Even though the two men couldn't be any more different, Gron was optimistic, cheerful, and kind, while Vincent was pessimistic, deadpan, and rude to people he wasn't friends with. They were still best friends regardless, and had been since the 5th grade. Gron had a wife, Linda, and 2 sons, Jackson and Tyler, while Vincent was a single father and had a daughter named Elizabeth. Gron played a character called the Jester, where he was a live performer wearing a green jester outfit, while Vincent wore the Fredbear suit and was also the night guard, while William himself wore the Spring Bonnie suit. Chapter 6. Business was doing incredibly well at Goldie Paradiner. Kids were coming, and there were more employees working there. However, underneath the fun exterior, working at Goldie Paradiner and Fazbear Inc. was practically the closest thing to hell on earth. The employees were mistreated and abused, the rules were unfair, and there were little to no breaks. And the few breaks the employees did have didn't even last that long, only being 7 to 10 minutes. And because of that, most employees started slacking off. And that angered William. But, luckily for him, he had a way of dealing with employees like that. He would go to their house, kidnap them, bring them to the Fazbear Inc. manufacturing facility, and force them into what was basically slave labor. If an employee was slacking off a lot, then William would take them and put them inside a torture suit. A torture suit was basically a springlock suit, but with the intention of, well, torture. It was also somehow even more dangerous. One day, in November of 1948, at the Fazbear Inc. manufacturing facility, there were 3 employees. Their names were Samantha, Eric, and Jake that were slacking off, and William came into the room. "What are you 3 doing?" William yelled. Please, Mr. Afton, Eric pleaded. It was only for a little while. We promise we'll get right back to it, Samantha added on. No, this is unacceptable, William said. You three need to be taught a lesson. Then William knocked them all out, dragged Eric, Samantha, and Jake into the room with 3 torture suits, and he put the trio in each respective suit. When they woke up, they were horrified. Please, let us out of here, Jake exclaimed. However, William laughed sadistically. You stupid idiots, he exclaimed. You disobeyed the rules. Now you have to pay for it. You see, these are torture suits. Once you get inside them, there's no going back. They'll make sure that this is the biggest regret of your worthless lives. See this button I'm holding? I'm gonna press it, and it'll set off the suits. So, bye-bye, William boasted as he pushed the button that sets off the suits. Then the suits went off, and the 3 employees writhed in pain. You sick, twisted fuck! Ah! Then the 3 died, and William laughed maniacally. However, unbeknownst to William, Vincent and Gron, who were at the facility, had witnessed the whole thing. What the hell? Vincent said. He tried his best to stay quiet so William wouldn't hear him. This guy's insane, Gron responded. We have to stop him, Vincent said. Then Vincent and Gron had an idea. They pushed William into one of the rooms, then locked the door so that William couldn't escape. Hey, let me out of here, you bastards, William yelled. Oh, I swear, when I find out who you are, you're in for a world of hurt, William added on. Vincent and Gron booked it out of there, not wanting to be found out. Eventually, William punched open the door and freed himself. Then, William put the pieces together. Gron and Vincent were the only other employees in the building at the time, so it pretty much had to be them. Oh, those bastards, William said. I swear, they will pay for this.